Hello everyone. So today we're happy to have Miguel here with us in Geneva.
Hi.
Who is our featured HR lead of the month of December. So today we'll have my colleagues from Geneva, Abide,
Hello.
Arti,
Hi.
and Federico,
Hi everybody.
asking Miguel different tricky questions that I'm sure you all want to know the answers to. But first, let's just start with a simple question. Miguel, just tell us about yourself.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Argentina. I from the same town as Messi is, so those who like soccer, that's where Messi was born. Of course, I don't play as good as him, he's my brother. We moved with my family to Mexico and then Germany when I was young. Then I came back to Rosario, that's where I studied. I started working in Rosario, and then with PepsiCo I moved around. I'm happily married for 23 years and we have 4 children. Now we are located in Barcelona.
Perfect, thank you so much. That was a very nice introduction.
Good.
So you mentioned you started working with Pepsi. So was that your first job?
No, my first job was actually while I was studying in the service industry. I was working for a travel agency that had wholesale travel, and I was kind of in charge of doing their financing. So we were like a wholesaler that would create travel packages and sell it to retailer agencies.
Okay, nice.
And can you tell me more about your career at PepsiCo? How did you join the company? How did you start?
Yeah, so I after that work I did when I was studying my MBA, and then I worked in Colgate, in Walmart, and in a technology company. And PepsiCo contacted me. I had been offered to move outside of Argentina by Colgate, but it was not the right moment at that time. And the offer when PepsiCo came was to manage concentrate operations for Latin America and North America. And I discussed with my wife, who of course makes all the decisions. And it was the right time to move. We had 3 of the 4 children, and we moved to Puerto Rico. It was a great experience the first time, a great role. I think concentrate operations is a great part of the business to join and learn because you see a little bit of everything. It allowed me to have a multi-country experience, which is great. Understand the company very well. Although it's small teams, it gives you the opportunity to connect with different operating units. So it was a great start. I'm very happy about it.
And did you always want to work in HR, or you also worked in other functions?
Yeah, so that great question, because I studied economics and I have a passion for history and geography. However, when I did my MBA, I started to connect a lot with 2 fields. Marketing, in the sense of consumer insights. I was very drawn into the insights and understanding of the consumer. And HR as understanding employees' motivations. And after I finished my MBA, I was probably more inclined to do either HR or consumer insights.
Well, that's the economist in you, right?
Yes.
Because I did economics as well,
Yes.
so I know where you're coming from.
An accountant as well, so that's where the numbers come from.
So what would you say are, the top 2 or 3 words that describe you best?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think human beings are very complex to be described in 2 or 3 words. Also, I don't like this concept of personal brands and things. So I don't know. I hope I'm remembered by being a nice guy with humor and good relationships. But that would be my thinking.
Who is inspiring you the best? The most?
We have a lot of people that inspire me, so calling somebody out will be difficult, and also depends on what parts of life, it's professional or your personal life. So I think I have a lot of people that inspire me, and I take a lot of good lessons from my father. He also worked in a company and had international experience. It was a long time ago, but I think I get a lot of inspiration from him. Yeah.
Nice.
And what would be your favorite place in the world?
So Rosario, because I'm from there, and then Barcelona, because I live there, and it's a wonderful city. It's a beautiful city. It's a right size. It's very easy to live in Barcelona, and the city couldn't be more beautiful.
Is it true that people are always dancing on the streets? Because that's what I've heard about Barcelona.
No, not at least not in our street. When I look down, people are usually walking. Yeah.
Oh,
How about
disappointing.
Switzerland? I'm not sure if everyone knows, but Miguel is Swiss as well.
Yeah, so I love Switzerland. My family origins come from Ticino, close to Lugano.
Yeah, okay.
And I travel there like 2 or 3 times a year. I love Lugano. I have cousins there, and it's a very nice part of Switzerland.
Very beautiful city.
So you also speak Italian.
Un più di italiano, un più. Stanno facendo un più di apprendizaje dell'italiano, ma non lo parlo bene.
Perfetto.
So we all can agree that you've had a very successful career.
Oh, thank
What
you.
would you say has, really helped you achieve this?
I would say, looking at people that do things well and learning from them, listening a lot. I think, fortunately, I was very young, promoted to a very senior role. So my manager that was leaving and I was getting the role told me, Miguel, you're not ready for this role. You'll be ready in 3 years. So listen a lot. And I think that stuck with me. And listening and looking for role models, not only in HR, but people that have good skills at something, and seeing how they work those skills and trying to pick your own style, but use them in some way as a role model. And then I think it's a bit underrated, but people learn a lot from mistakes, and I made a lot of mistakes. And I learned a lot from them, kind of decoding why I had made those mistakes and what would I be doing differently if that situation came.
So is this something you would say that Pepsi has instilled in you because of the way the Pepsi culture is, or something that you came with to Pepsi?
Well, I came with Pepsi, kind of mid my career. So I had probably made a lot of mistakes in the beginning and listened a lot. So yeah, of course, I made a lot of mistakes in PepsiCo, and that helped me learn, and I had good coaches. I think what PepsiCo gave me is this enormous opportunity, living in 4 different places, having multicultural experiences, multi-country experiences, and the pace of change. I think that's what PepsiCo, brings a lot to everybody's career.
True.
You told us that you learned about your mistakes. What about your weakness?
Oh, that's a very clear one. I'm not detail-oriented, so I work with people that are detail-oriented.
Yeah.
So that's my workaround. Sometimes I can get a little bit anxious and jump to action without so much reflection. And sometimes the email is not a good tool because you just want to get things done and you might send an email. So what I've done is the workaround is knowing when I'm in that situation and rethinking, oh, have I aligned these? This is the best way to resolve this issue. So I think the most important thing is be very aware of your weaknesses and find workarounds.
So you mentioned that you learned a lot during your career at PepsiCo. What do you enjoy the most about this company?
I think it's the people. I think we are a company with very bright people. I mean, people that join are always amazed on how bright people are. But also I think we have a very relationship culture, and people are very nice at collaborating and building good relationships. And I think 80% of your work is talking, dealing with people. So if you find a place where you find bright people, nice people, and people you can build good relationships, that's what really I enjoy of PepsiCo.
So, in order for us to show a bit more of our Geneva office, we decided to change the location. So, let's move on.
Yeah. So, Miguel, if you have to suggest one book, article to the SR community, what would it be?
So I'll recommend an old book again. Makes me a bit old, but it's a book from Peter Drucker. It's called Post-Capitalist Society. It's a book written in 1993, And what I really like, he talks about the knowledge economy, you know, and the knowledge worker, and then the implications it has in organizations, in society in general, government. So it's a very broad book. It's not only a business book. I think it's also a bit of an economics and sociology book. But it talks about this concept of the knowledge worker, which I think, you know, we are moving into the knowledge worker, the service economy, and it was written 20 years ago. So I found it very interesting and with very clear concepts.
So the four of us are quite a young HR professional who just started our career. What advice would you give us to build a successful career?
What I would do in early stage is take as many as critical experiences as you can in the function. So try culture and engagement, learning, compensation, SET, COE, whatever, HR business partner, or even if you can do a business assignment. I think it's important in the early stages of the career to build functional breadth, or even cross-functional breadth, because the second part of the career is going to be more on leadership and how you lead small teams or large teams or a whole department. So take the chance, and I think PepsiCo is a great place to do that, to take as many critical experiences as you can from a functional perspective.
True. So, what would you say is the future of HR? I mean, from now, not just in Pepsi, but if we look at it as industry-wide. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, to begin with, let's remember HR is a very new discipline. You know, it has 40, 50 years, so it's a relatively new field of study. Management in general, now, when you compare it with other disciplines, it's relatively new, as 100 years. So Taylor, Fayol started doing their studies 100 years ago. And so HR has to evolve, probably become more decision-based discipline with analytics, and we're starting to see that. I think the human being is very complex, so we need to keep understanding what motivates people, what engages people. I think fields like neuroscience probably will add a lot to HR. And then I think another area where we'll see a lot of changes is in organizations. I think we still operate in organizations that look like 70 years ago, you know, created again in this post-World War, very stable world. And now we need organizations that are much agile, that can, you know, connect and disconnect and serve customers differently. So I think a lot in the way we help shape our organizations needs to evolve. And those for me will be the 2-3 things that will change in HR.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
And
you.
if you have any questions, I'm talking to you as the HR community, to Miguel, please ask him on the HR web, and I'm sure Miguel will be happy to answer, right?
Of course, like you say.
Perfect. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye guys.
Bye,
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.